And we're live, and Mark is having some trouble here. He looks frozen for me and Jack.
Are you
Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah.
Um, Mark, are you still with us?
all right? Who's here?
All right. We got Wealth Building Journey, All Nighter Hider. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Catherine is here. Good morning,
I
Catherine.
can,
All nighter. Hope you catch some more fish. I saw your post earlier about you catching a carp earlier.
And
I'm still
Hider, I have
frozen.
some PTSD with the kayak. Last time I was tipped over.
All nighter. Hope you catch some more fish. I saw your post earlier about you catching a carp earlier.
Jack, have you ever been kayaking?
Yeah, I actually love kayaking. It's a lot of fun. I haven't fished like all nighter has though off the kayak. I, I was talking to all nighter recently with my kayak. The hole in the front isn't very big to put like fishing gear and stuff in. So I was
Mm.
kind of half tempted to cut a larger hole in it and make it more of an open kayak. And I don't know, I'm not sure what it's called, but at work we have this stuff that goes over top of metal to keep the sharp edges from cutting you. I was thinking about going with that around the kayak.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've only been kayaking once, and it was probably 2 months ago now. And I was out in the Sound, and some big, I don't know if it was a whale, I don't know if it was a seal or a wave or what happened. I just like flipped over, and my stuff went flying. Oh, it was bad.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that in this area.
Oh, Frank is here.
Have you ever been kayaking, Frank?
Okay, yeah, I went to kayaking once, and it was probably 2 months ago now. And some big, I don't know. Frank is here. Frank, is your sound on? Oh boy. I don't think we can hear Frank.
Frank, are you muted?
No, he says it's on. Jack, are you there still?
Yeah, I'm still here. I muted myself for a second because there's some background noise going on.
Oh, okay, okay. I just want to make sure that I wasn't going crazy here.
No, I was coughing and there's some background noise.
I said,
Well,
and remind me, you're in Pittsburgh, right?
yeah, yes.
No.
So there's no whales in Pittsburgh. Actually, what was it? We had a shark up here a couple years ago.
Oh my god. What, it went through, like, the river or something, or
They said that they estimated it probably took like 3 months, but it went through the Mississippi River up to the Ohio. It worked its way through all the locks and dams and kept going.
oh, wow. I think that's what, Jaws was based off of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, and maybe not in Pittsburgh, but I think Jaws was based off of a shark that went inland. Mark, are you with us? Oh boy.
I think Mark froze again.
Yep, yep. I don't know what's going on in Hawaii. Frank has yet to come back to.
Yeah. Well, at least it froze on Mark on a good spot. Like he doesn't look horrible or not making a goofy face or something.
Yeah. Thank you, janitor on fire there. Oh, man. All right. Yes, well, Buddy Nerd, we definitely do need a 10-year-old to come fix the technology.
Oh, we're back up to full speed. We got 4 people now.
Okay, Frank, can we hear you? Oh,
No.
no, we can't hear you.
Hey Frank, on the bottom of your like below our pictures, click the settings and click the audio and make sure it's set to the correct one. Because I know the first time I did restream with Mark, that threw me for a loop, and it picked something random that wasn't the correct one. Ah, we lost Frank again.
We lost Frank again, but it looks like Janitor on Fire is looking at a potential house hack. Own the house almost 10 years, trying to convince the wife to move into the already existing garage apartment. That's awesome, man. Um, does the garage apartment have a bathroom and like a kitchen? Is it like a fully operative?
You know, janitor, if you have trouble getting your wife to want to move in there, something I think would work really well is make a plate of homemade cookies and just throw them in there. And when she gets in there, just lock the door behind her, and there she's in there. You don't have to worry about it anymore
Uh,
because no one can resist cookies. So what's going on with you, Curtis? What's new with you?
oh, what's new with me? I'm actually doing two kind of like rehab projects at the same time, which is a first. Um, I'm so I don't know if you know, but my old house hack, I kind of separated a room from the rest of the house, and so now I'm working to reintegrate that. So trying to match the flooring, repainting, kind of doing all that stuff, and then at my current house hack, I'm adding a bedroom in.
Okay, cool. Janitor Fire says it's a studio apartment with
Oh,
its own bathroom, but there's no kitchen.
well, I mean, if you have the bathroom, that's more than I had in my first house hack, so that's awesome, man.
I like how you answered the question I was about to ask you because I couldn't remember if it was you or Kevin that had a place that didn't have a bathroom.
Yeah, yeah, that was me. No bathroom nor kitchen, so anything more than that is an upgrade.
Kyle asked what markets do we invest in? I'm in Pittsburgh.
Nice. I'm in Pierce County, just an hour south of Seattle. So a little different in the price points there.
Yeah, just a little.
Oh, Mark, I saw some movement.
There's a glitch of hope.
Hear you guys. I can hear you.
Well, we should
I
probably start
just
shit
got
talking
new.
then.
I just got new Wi-Fi too.
Oh well, you need the refund. Jenner says he bought the house from an estate sale. The previous owners had passed away, and they converted the garage in their old age, turning it from a 4-bed, 2.5 bath to a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath. Wow.
General Fire said he's in the suburbs of San Antonio.
Okay. Texas and wealth building journey. He's in Detroit. Kyle, is this stream read by the Bears organization?
Oh, Frank's back.
Frank. Oh,
Uh,
oh my God. Who was running the show, man? All right, let's see here. That's okay. Jack, what's going on with you? I talked about my projects a little bit.
so I'm working on a ceiling this week for the single unit. I decided that I'm not gonna move in there like I was originally planning, just because it's too far out of the way from everything for me. Sorry about that. I just woke up recently. I took a lot, but found a tenant. Gonna get my stuff that I moved in out of there, fix the ceiling in one spot. But yeah, so it's slats and there's a stucco or something on top of that. But like all the years of paint, it's actually cracked at the very first layer. It's actually peeling and taking all the layers of paint with it. But everything else is solid. So I was thinking about doing like that ceiling tile stuff that like lumberjack landlords always doing on the backsplashes, and actually installing that on the ceiling. And that should hold it all up together and be nice, because right now it's dark and I was thinking about getting a silver. Trying to get some railing stained before winter comes on a different unit. Oh, and talking to the attorneys this week on a eviction.
Nice. And remind us, because I actually forgot, how many units do you have in Pittsburgh?
I currently have 8.
8. Okay.
Yeah, and one's getting remodeled, one's getting a little bit of work done, and the other one is just getting some last minute stuff before winter sets in done.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because the winters there are pretty bad, right?
They're hit and miss. I mean, we could see bad winters compare like you would think for like, our area, with like feet of snow and stuff.
Mhm.
And then we can also have real mild winters that it barely gets to freezing.
Mm. Yeah, where I'm at, kind of on the sound, is we're pretty mild on both ends during like the winter time and during the summertime.
Yeah, lately we've been having a lot of really mild winters, which it's nice and it's not, because like on Christmas when it's nice because like come Christmas you want the snow and stuff, but we don't have it. Like maybe have a heavy frost. But what is disappointing though is then you have all the ticks and other bugs that get killed from the cold weather just sticking around all year, and they just keep getting worse and worse and worse.
Mm.
Am I back?
Mark, you're back.
Mark, there we go. Are you back
What the
for
fuck
good?
is going on? I don't know. I just got new internet. It's fucking pissing me off, man.
Huh.
I can hear you
Still
guys
can't
much
hear
better
me, right?
now.
Oh,
Oh, we hear you.
yeah, Frank.
Oh, now I
Good morning. Good morning.
Frank makes the arrival. Awesome to hear you.
And he made us coffee. Look at that.
I know. Holy smokes.
Now I have to drink 4 cups.
yeah.
Oh man, you know, Frank, you were being talked about here in the chat.
All right.
Jenner Fire.
Yeah, we can still hear you, Mark.
Yeah. Janitor on Fire says his biggest fear is to work with contractors. So maybe he should invest wherever Frank lives, but that's California for right now. So I don't know.
Yeah, contractors stink. I don't really care to work with many subs either, because over the years, electricians, plumbers, whoever we have had to bring in on different projects, just leave all their mess behind, and then we end up cleaning it up. So over the last few years, I've had to get a lot tougher. And when they give me bids, I make sure they include hauling their own trash away, because we don't need that extra stuff put on our plate.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to is whenever I'm finally have enough income from the rentals and stuff that I can quit the W-2 job, not having to clean up after contractors and stuff, and just doing more of the work myself. Because like small stuff, like your flip or like your kitchens, they're pretty easy. The painting and stuff, I have all the equipment to do that, so it's kind of silly to pay someone to do that when I can get it done fairly quick. I know recently I had someone, an electrician, he left a ceiling fan, a whole bunch of other stuff just laying in the room. Luckily, the one guy that was helping, that usually kind of helps me, was moving in, and he was telling me, he's just like, he doesn't want this. He's not going to want this fan. Just take it with you. No, no, no. He might want it. I don't throw it away. He's like, I can tell you from working with him, he doesn't want the stupid fan. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do with it? He's like, I don't care. Go to a gas station and throw it in the garbage can for all I care. The F-bombs are real, yes.
Oh yeah.
Good morning.
It's early in Hawaii right now. Holy smokes.
Yeah, look, it's still dark outside. You can see in the curtains of Mark.
That's why Mikey's not awake.
Kyle says, all jokes aside, and have a target date to sell one of his properties in California in January. He's looking in the Ohio area. Anyone have any insight on the area?
What part of Ohio?
Yeah, there's a person in our local group here in Tacoma, FI, that he does like kind of burrs in, I believe he said Cincinnati. And so, Kyle, if you message me, I can get you his information.
Kyle, you're in the group still, correct? If you are, there's a few people in the school community that invest in Ohio too. Was it what's his thing? Trade Better 99. He has a place in Akron, I think.
And Dennis did a turnkey, but he's in.
Can you guys still
is it
hear me?
Barberton, Ohio? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with any of the cities, Kyle. I'm sorry. Other than I used to drive there for work and stuff.
Let's see here.
I thought we was gonna talk yet.
Well, since you brought it up, who are you voting for?
Maybe that's why it's not working.
Yeah, it could be. Nah, it's probably the new house that I'm at. It's a better internet, but I don't know. I gotta get them to come back again.
Yeah, you're a little bit delayed, but we can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I don't know.
So, you guys ready to start today's topic?
Oh yeah.
Go
Okay.
ahead, go ahead.
So, do you guys think that the polls are rigged?
Well, who are they polling? No one's ever asked me. Or like, where are they getting these people from?
The ones that still have a landline.
It's like, holy smokes, man.
Thank you, Josh. Mark will put that to good use. If you didn't see Mark, Josh donated $1.99 to getting you better internet. But so the election is, I don't even know what day of the week this is. Saturday, 3 days away.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the ads not being around anymore.
Or the text messages.
Hi, this is Donald Trump, and I need your support. Please click this super glitchy, spammy looking thing so I can steal all your monies.
Yeah. Luckily, my new phone that I got after I fell in the Puget Sound, that my new phone blocks all the spam. Like it identifies it, and I never even see it. So that part's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Frank, how do you feel about the election?
Well, I don't know. I was telling Mark last night that I still don't understand politics, and I don't follow them that closely. I've always just, I guess, waited to see who got into office and then went into survival mode after that. And that's all my life, right? We just deal with whatever we get. But like Dion says, it seems like all the higher up people up there all own real estate, and they're not changing any rules to take away any of their profits. So learning to play this game, the real estate game, and just getting better at your own financial literacy has helped us a lot. And learning some of the 1031 stuff, learning how to use those kinds of things, because that's how they're all staying wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. And honestly, for us as real estate investors, there's no wrong thing that can possibly happen because we're either going to see tax breaks and incentives and that are going to help us move forward with all of our investing strategies, or the other thing that'll happen is there'll be such high inflation that's going to make our net worth just explode, and we can pull money out against that to help us continue moving forward.
Yeah, and I think a lot of folks get caught up in like the presidential race, but they don't even know who's running in their own backyard. The stuff that will actually affect them on the day today, be it where they live or be it where they invest. Because I know, Frank, you invest at a distance. So, Frank, do you keep up with the like elections or anything like that where you're investing? I know it's tough because you invest in like 30 states or something crazy, but
It's pretty close now. No, actually, that hasn't even crossed my mind. It's finding a team of contractors and things like that. On a video I just put out was talking about that, and we were able to get some contacts through our agent, and then searching on the Better Business Bureau website for different people. So I guess, yeah, the political aspect hasn't even crossed my mind. Again, like some people have experienced law changes, around STRs and MTRs, and have had to pivot because of that. That's kind of the same thing with me. If a law changes and it affects us, then we'll make a plan. But that's as far as I get.
yeah, kind of. So you're almost more reactive than proactive when it comes to whoever wins.
Yeah, sad to say, but in other aspects, I subjects that I know more about, I can be proactive.
Mhm.
So yeah, but the political thing is one where I'm probably, like you said, more reactive.
Yeah, in which it's hard to keep up with everything that's going on, so it's hard to stay proactive in that sense, especially if you're in multiple states or same state but two different spots. They can have completely different rules there.
Right. Yeah, unless you're somebody like Matt, the lumberjack, he's in on all the council meetings and all that stuff, making law changes himself. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's one thing that I kind of want to improve on. I'm pretty good about staying up to date on like I guess general rules, but like in Washington, we just had a new law pass like last year that's going to change all the zoning, so there won't be any more single family zoning here in Washington. But it's up to each county on how they come up with the plan that works for their place, And so trying to follow that and follow the election has been very interesting.
yeah, and I think there was a comment, I forget where I saw it, but talking about your investment strategy, whether whoever gets in office, would that affect how you invest, or are you waiting to invest until after the election, things like that. And right now we're just on hold because we're doing some rehabs and some turnovers and things like that. But in all reality, um, like the guys say, no matter what the interest rates are, if I found a deal today that cash flowed, I would move on it. I wouldn't wait until Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and like Frank said, I'm just too busy doing remodels and revamps and other things like that. So I'm not really actually actively looking for a deal right now. But I wouldn't let the election stop me if I was.
Mhm. Yeah, so for a new investor, what advice would you guys have for trying to balance managing what you already have versus trying to grow? Because I don't think Jack or Frank, I don't think the three of us are at a point where we are not in the growth mode. I think we're all three kind of still in the growth mode. So how do we kind of balance managing what we have and trying to grow at the same time?
I personally get into a corner and cry, and I have to wait for the election to end. I can't handle anything until the election's over. I know it's only a few days away, but we should duck and cover like they taught us in school, for in case there's atomic bombs and stuff like it. I can't handle life until the election's over.
You're not that old, are you, Jack, to remember the drills, the under the desk drills and things like
I got
that?
to do it one time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, back in my day, we built the desks that we got under. So when when you think about that, well, like again, I've mentioned a few times on some of our videos that listening to Zuber, listening to Matt, listening to Anna Kelly, and people like that, they talk about things in a whole huge perspective, right? A world view. And at first it was a little bit hard to follow because we didn't understand the language and just what they were talking about. But now that we're starting to understand that, it even helps us in our daily decisions, financial decisions, and we've been able to make better decisions because of what they talk about. And it's nice well, Zuber has always stayed, 1 to 4, but now that a lot of the other people are coming back down to that level, and you mentioned people just trying to get started, um, it seems like the biggest challenge for people is understanding or trying to pick a market, first of all. That's a big challenge. And then once they pick a market, it seems to get a little bit easier because the analyzation of a property is basically the same wherever you're at, right? So I think Casey was on with Zuber, or one of her private videos. She was talking about if you're looking for a market and you have an idea, to pick, like 5 zip codes in that area and just look at properties, and you'll get an idea if they have any chance of cash flowing or not. And then you can eliminate zip codes. And then once you find some that do have a possibility, then study those for, start to study those for a few days and analyze those deals. And once you see that it could work, then you really dig in to that market um, and stay there until you understand it. So that's, I thought that was a good, helpful tip for people that are starting out. As far as we go, I think, like you said, Curtis, we are in growth mode still. I think for us right now, it's critical that we get everything stabilized because we've had 2 evictions. We picked up 2 properties recently, and one of our tenants moved out. So we had 5 vacant out of 10. So that's been a little bit rough, but we're seeing some progress. So that's been nice. I think I didn't really concentrate on stabilization early enough. So now I'm paying for it a little bit. But now, I mean, we're not going to buy anything until all these places are filled and producing some cash.
Wealth Building Journey posted in the comments a link to Coach Carson's video about trying to pick a market. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and Frank, you kind of have an interesting way of going about it because it almost seems like there's a lot of good markets out there that work for like the numbers, right? People are successfully investing wherever, right? But you seem to have picked markets where you actually know the people there.
Yeah, we started out when we first started re-educating ourselves on our second go round. We ended up talking with Allie Boone. You guys might have heard me talking about her, but she was a turnkey promoter, and that's kind of why we ended up in like 5 different areas, because we were looking for turnkey deals, and I didn't know any better, so the state didn't matter. The deal mattered. And so first we ended up in Missouri. We got a turnkey in Illinois through one of her turnkey providers. And then we ended up buying a turnkey in Gary using the same folks that Millennial Mike started with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how we started in 3 different areas. And then we decided to try St. Louis because one of our other property managers learned from a property manager there in St. Louis, and I liked the one we have. So we were looking for properties in St. Louis so that we could work with that property manager, because that seemed like one of the keys. If you have a good property manager, then it would be a lot smoother. And just from there, so we found a property, we started with him. We found some people through him to help us there, and then along with our agent, the team started building. So that's why we're concentrating on the St. Louis area for a while.
Frank, someone in the audience was asking, how do you get cigarette smoke should they pull the drywall and re-insulate or just try Killsies?
I don't know that this, unless you have a bunch of holes in the sheetrock, I don't think the cigarette smoke's going to really get in through the drywall to the insulation. But I think Kills works really well. We've used that before, and some of you had mentioned what are the ozone machines or something like that that purify the
Yeah, I've
air.
done that a couple times.
Yeah,
I've done the Killsies with the ozone machine, and that seemed to work pretty good.
hmm yeah, because I don't know if it was Matt. He might have even mentioned it for like pet urine smells and stuff like that. I've never tried one myself, but I have worked with the Kills quite often.
Mark, I'm not sure if you can hear us or not, but it looks like Mr. Pierogi is attacking you.
Well, it's kind of hard to sleep when our mattresses are filled with cash, you know.
Lumpy mattresses. I still have an air mattress. I'm waiting for that cash to start filling it up.
So I was at an Airbnb, what was it 2 weeks ago, and I never slept on a memory foam mattress before. That was really comfortable. I think I measured like 10 inches or so thick, and it was really nice.
Yeah, those are really, really nice. They're kind of expensive though. I mean, we went, shopping for mattresses a while back, and they were up in the thousands for some of the new mattresses. We ended up, forget which one we ended up getting. It was either a purple or avocado or something like that, but it was still $700. But it is a nice mattress.
Yeah, and I think some people undervalue the importance of a good mattress for sleep. Like we spend almost a third of our lives. Well, I guess it depends on how much you work, but about a third of your life is asleep. So it might as well be good.
Yeah. I hope Dion has a good mattress for all of his naps. The other thought that crossed my mind too, when we were talking about stabilizing and stuff, all the recent comments we've heard, and Lumberjack talked about it on Thursday about rent softening and stuff. So we were concerned, like I said, having 5 places vacant, what we were going to find when we tried to get them rented. But in our Milwaukee duplex, the one going through the evictions, the property manager already has a couple of candidates, and they're placing them at the rents that where we were at when the other tenants left. So that was a good sign. Now we're waiting for St. Louis to get ready to rent, and we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. I think the range of rents in our area are starting to shrink because we would see these drastic ranges, right? From like inherited like tenants all the way to like, holy smokes, like you got to be making 6 figures to even live there type deal, right? So we're kind of seeing like a softening too, at least in my area, but they're still high, especially the Northwest.
Yeah, a while back, I forget, we were talking in another group that we belong to, and the new FMRs came out for 2025, so we all jumped in and just started looking. And the first one I looked at, the FMRs are lower for 2025. So I panicked, but I checked all our other markets, and all the other markets were up. So it was
which is so odd because based on their equation, right? Because like, doesn't Dion and Lumberjack say they look at the past 7 years, and then they take the most recent 5 or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, if they're all going up, how do they go down in one year? So I'm kind of interested on how that happened.
I think it's just from the massive spike of everything that happened because of COVID, and now they're starting to come back down again. That's why I really wasn't I didn't raise my rents too much, even though I could have, because I figure at some point they're going to come back down and kind of stable back out again. But I didn't want to have to, with tenants, lower the rents versus just leaving them alone and just seeing where it fell. I'll probably not this year, maybe next year on a couple units raise the rents, but I think probably it would be the following year after that before I actually do a portfolio wide, raise.
Yeah. I think for my area, it went up $50. So nothing too crazy. I think the year before that was like $500. So
Wow. Yeah, I think things are gonna be a little bit flat for a bit, but again, like we were saying, if the deals work, at those rents, and sometimes you don't think about, a $25 rent increase doesn't sound like a ton, but if you have, 5 or 10 properties, then that adds up over across the whole portfolio, and that's helpful. And just hopefully, insurance and taxes don't outpace you there.
yeah, now I think you guys are. Is Pennsylvania blue where you're at, Jack, or is it a red area?
Um, I always get the colors mixed up. What are the colors again? I'm sorry.
Blue is Democrat, red is Republican.
So everywhere but Pittsburgh and Philadelphia is I'm sorry, I already forgot. What were the colors again?
Red for Republican and blue for the Democrat.
Okay, so basically blue or Erie, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia are blue, and the rest of the state is red.
Hmm.
So if you can convince either Pittsburgh or Philadelphia to go red, then then the whole state will end up going Republican. But if both the major cities, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, stay the way that they are and go Democrat, then the whole state will end up going Democratic.
Hmm.
It's always been kind of a swing state. It really just comes down to what the cities do.
Okay. The reason and that I was asking that is because in the area that I'm at, it's very blue. It's very liberal, and there's a couple of places that have implemented a version of rent control. And so while FMR may have only been $50, I'm probably going to have to max out how much I can raise rent each year because of the new policies. It's just
Yeah, they're they're trying to do. I don't know about Philadelphia just because it's on the complete other side of the state, but I know in Pittsburgh they're trying to do some type of rent control, but it failed. But I don't know. Me and Cynthia have been talking more and more. I think we're going to end up moving everything out of Allegheny County, which would get us out of all that stuff.
But then what happens if you go through all that trouble and things change where you move to?
Where we're thinking about switching it, and keep in mind, we're not just talking about switching it if it's just the political stuff. If they switch it, that's fine. But if it ends up becoming too much of a headache to deal with the politics, if it ends up being too much of a problem trying to deal with the politics and stuff, then we'll move everything out, and we'll just go. We'll probably end up going over to Armstrong just because they're so far back in they're red, and they kind of stay behind in the politics a good ways too, like almost over a decade behind. Mark says he wants to see more action arguing.
Well,
he says that he wants to turn this into WWE Raw.
I think he chose the wrong guys to be on the show then.
He needs to get Pace and Dion on here.
Yeah, what I can't believe, or I can't believe that someone actually dislikes Dion. It seems like it'd be really hard to dislike Dion.
I think, well, I think part of the issue is his exposure to Dion hasn't been that great, you know,
Yeah.
because if you're around him at all and understand what he's trying to do for everybody, you can't dislike him, you know. And I mean, Pace is super knowledgeable, but I don't really care for his attitude myself. You know, when he was talking with Zuber last time, and he was they were talking about when you want to learn something from someone or pick a mentor or someone's where you want to be, instead of chasing them and asking them to help you, you find out what they need and provide it, and then what you need will come around. But to me, that was kind of the same thing. You know,
Mhm.
you're kind of, I don't know, not like bribing somebody, but you doing favors with the wrong intentions, right? You should be doing things for people because you like helping people or it's the right thing to do, not because you're expecting it to come back around and change your situation into a more favorable one. That kind of stuff just kind of turns me off from what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Pace. I think he gives a lot of good knowledge and stuff, but like if you gave me the option to sit in a coffee shop with either Pace or Dion, I would definitely pick Dion. And I don't know. Pace, I feel like in some ways he's so into his own ego that I could see being around him being very stressful, and I don't want the extra stress in my life.
It's hard because I, I guess about half of the stuff he says is really valuable and seems sincere, but then the next half hour it's the reverse. So you just don't know. I don't know how to read him. It's
Yeah, although Two Pace is not defense, but just kind of thinking about it, I can't imagine being Pace and having this.
I really don't agree with you, Curtis. We better just stop talking about this right now.
Like, I really cannot imagine like being that big of a brand in a person and really not being able to turn it off. That's almost with what it seems like. Is there's no off button. There's no
Yeah.
dimmer it down. He just always has to be Pace because that's the brand he's built.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess not just the brand, but the person, right? And somebody said in one of the comments that he was just a salesman, and he just once he starts talking, it's I've heard him talk a few times, and it's basically the same. You know, it's almost not that it's scripted, but it sounds scripted if you listen to him long enough. But there is some value there on certain topics, and we can learn something from anyone we meet, whether it's even if it's bad things, right? Things we don't want to do in our own situations. But yeah, I've always thought we could learn from anyone else out there who's a good person or not.
So, Frank, you just said something I'd like to talk a little bit about. So, if you did look at Pace in the sense of, realizing how you want to invest and what not to do for yourself, that could be what you end up learning from Pace. Like, and I'll give you an example in my own life of something I've learned over the years is, I watched my parents growing up and stuff, and even as an adult, just all the financial destructive decisions that they made, I learned very quickly at a young age what not to do with money.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. You know, we've all had friends over the years that have made bad choices, things like that. And hopefully we can learn from their mistakes. It's just like the real estate stuff, right? The things we're trying to put out there are mistakes and lessons we've learned to help people avoid those. And if they listen to them and put them into practice, that's up to them. But um, it kind of crosses over.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't want the stresses of Pace Morby either, having to pay all those employees and trying to make a name for yourself. Like, I could see myself at, the biggest I would ever want to be, maybe like a lumberjack size, or even smaller than that. But even then, it's like you don't necessarily need a portfolio even that big in order to be happy. Excuse me. Mike Butler, I think it was Mike Butler, and the very beginning of his book, I can't remember the name. I'll pull it up here in a minute. But he was talking about the pain in the ass ratio. How many units do you want to your income? So do you want to have a nice relaxing lifestyle? And he said he came to this epiphany when he had a beeper and he had 75 calls that he had to return. And he worked 10 hours, and at the end of the day, he had 75 calls he had to return, even though he was making phone calls all day. And he said he was so busy that he didn't have time to fart even.
Yeah, definitely got to right size that portfolio. I don't have property managers yet. I think I'm going to build a little bit more here in Washington before I go out of state. But once I get a property manager for the out of state ones, I wonder if that's going to change how many that I would like to have. Because I feel like there's a difference, a different load there, Frank, and maybe you can talk about that more since you deal with those. But I would guess it's a little bit probably easier on the a mental load.
Yeah, I think for us, what I see is, growing the portfolio, hopefully large enough just to sustain our way of life. And then after that, you have choices, right? You can do passion projects, or you can try a burr, or you can try a fix and flip, or things like that, because your income and your portfolio are stable. I think even giving some money to charities and things like that we've supported over the years would be nice. So I could see still purchasing properties in the future, even though your portfolio is all you need. And I don't think we would buy here in California. I think we wouldn't want to put all our eggs in St. Louis either, even though that's the market that we're really interested in right now. We have 4 there right now. I could see maybe getting to 10 there, and then practicing a new market, or following some of the people in the group that are successful in some other markets to test the waters in different places. And then there will be more resources for you too, right? All their contractors and handymen and things like that, instead of having to start all over again.
I
Yeah,
hear great things about this lovely little town called Pittsburgh. You should check it out, Frank.
I hear there's a bunch of hooligans there.
yeah, I'm kind of letting everyone build up their stuff, and then when I'm prepared to go out of state, everything will be built. I can just jump in.
Yeah. No, it's the always why reinvent the wheel thing. It's if it's working for a lot of people there. One thing I haven't been great about is finding Facebook groups in the other markets that we're in, things like that, for extra support and extra resources. So I think that would be helpful if somebody is. I think Chester is starting to try to find some resources in Detroit, and he mentioned joining a few Facebook groups there and was finding some value there. So, and that's his first property. So if he gets that network rolling, it'll be a lot easier.
Mhm.
I'm probably going to have to leave and go to work, but I appreciate you guys being here.
Oh, it's great to have you on, Frank. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Frank.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Now it's down to 3.
Well, 2.5.
Well, Mark's the pretty face that everyone comes here to see.
Yeah, yeah. When we can see his face.
It's okay. It gets frozen in time sometimes, and he's
Oh.
showing us something. Oh, the Bears.
Yep. All right. With that cue, I think we should start to wrap this up.
But what are all the swing states? We have what? PA, Michigan, Ohio. Which state am I missing?
I think they put it in the chat earlier. Let me see.
I was reading somewhere if Trump wins Pennsylvania, I think it's like 80% chance he'll take the election.
Yeah, I think Wealth Building Journey put some in there, like Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I'm not sure about the rest of them that he put in there. He said Indiana, Nevada, Georgia, and North Carolina.
The one thing in this election that really surprised me was the fact that Trump came back to where the first assassination attempt was.
Mm.
Like the same setup, everything. Like I would have thought, after someone getting shot at, wouldn't want to return. Like obviously return to the area because it's part of your campaign, but not return to the same site where you almost got shot.
Well, that's very Trump-like. Let's just double down. Let's just draw the attention to it.
Oh, Cynthia wants me to show you guys something.
For Holly, one for
All right, let's see.
They're socks,
Sucks. Wow.
and they come with a little comb.
That is some good stuff right there. Did you buy those or did you make them?
She bought them.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's giving them.
I've given them to
She's giving them to everyone. Her boss, who hates Trump.
Nice. When we were speaking about brand, Trump is definitely that brand right there. He's always on too.
All right, but Mark says that he's had enough of our shenanigans.
Yeah.
he's not.
So
To wrap up, you can find me PE turned RE on YouTube and Instagram. Jack.
you can find me at Jack's Business Talk on YouTube and X. I don't support Instagram. That try to control what you say. And Financial Firefighter, Mark here on YouTube. And he has a Instagram. I think he might have an X. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he does have X. Mark is on everything.